Welcome to another edition of Damage Per Podcast. I am your host, Jesse Bartell, and joining me today is Sutter Kane. No, I'm just kidding. Mitch Reeves.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Uh, do you read Sutter Kane? You remember that? That's from Sam Neill,
Um,
Mouth of Madness.
yeah. Uh, yes. I
Yes,
was
right?
I was trying to come up with the name. Yeah, yeah. That's right. Yes.
Cause, cause, spoiler alert, I started playing the first Alan Wake again, the remastered version.
hmm
And there's like a fictional writer in because Alan Wake's a writer, but there's like this other fictional writer that comes up and the author's name is Thomas like Zane. So every time they say
hmm
Thomas Zane, I go Sutter Kane in my head. Um
Yeah. I'm glad that because I never look at my friends list on. I just I don't play online anymore, so it doesn't matter.
right.
And for whatever reason, it was like Saturday or Sunday. I randomly looked and saw that you were playing Alan Wake, and I was like,
Hell yeah, buddy.
because because for some reason I thought Quantum Break was first. Like we were
Oh
gonna do that one first.
no.
So I had started it. I'm like 2 hours into Quantum Break.
Sir, no, 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 no. Alan Wake first, then Quantum
So
Break.
well I knew Alan Wake came first, but I was like I didn't know if we were gonna I couldn't remember if we decided to do like Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2 back to back or like how we were gonna do it.
hmm
So yeah, so I'm glad I noticed you playing it. So I uninstalled Quantum Break and I installed the Alan Wake remastered, started it this morning.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to talk. I just think that's a good game. And then going back to it
It is. It's really cool.
and going back to it like with the remastered, it's interesting uh how I don't know, like the remastered stuff really comes about with like the fog and the lighting and stuff and like the character
Yeah.
models like basically look the same. Um
Yes, they do.
and they took out the I think it was it Duracell or Energizer that was like in that game for the
Oh
batteries.
shit, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
they like
I'm
they got
sure.
him.
I'm
They
sure
got
it was one of the two.
they
It
got
had to
him
have
with
been. It had to
Duracell.
have been Energizer because that's was
Oh,
it Duracell? Which
yeah,
I
there's
want to
like
say that Xboxes always come with Energizers. I mean, I could be wrong
oh
for
that
the
you could you
controllers.
I think it's yes, it's whatever which one Microsoft is still like will not let us
Yeah.
have wireless controllers
Right. Exactly. Yes.
because they're like because yeah the what a racket. Anyway,
I'm saying
Alan Wake's still a good game. I played like
yes.
I don't know 3 4 hours of it on Sunday, and I got through 3 episodes, so I'm already way through half of the
Nice.
game.
Oh hell yeah!
So,
I'm in episode 2 or whatever. So
yeah, it's I can't wait to talk about Alan Wake, man.
yeah, I'm
It
excited.
was good to go back there and just be in that comfy place.
hmm
Between just after the holiday madness and the car breaking down, it was like nice little Alan Wake, cozy
hmm
spooky time.
Yep.
Shoot, the
Yep.
homeless people shoot simulator.
Yep.
Homeless people shoot them
Shadow.
simulator. Yeah, shadow people simulator.
The Shadow Peoples.
Yeah. The real homeless person killing simulator is that game Condemned, which was like
Yes.
you
Yeah.
played it and
Big time. Yeah.
you're like at first like, oh, okay, it's just like crazy homeless people, and then you play the whole game like, man, I'm killing a lot of homeless people.
Yeah. This is
I
a
don't
fucked up
yeah,
investigation.
yeah, this doesn't feel right. This feels bad. I was like, these people are just trying to live in these abandoned buildings, and I'm in here in their house, and they're mad at
Right.
me. Of course they'd be mad at me.
Yeah.
They're not in the right mind. They're probably on drugs, and then you just beat them to death with
Yeah.
like 2x4s.
Yeah. And metal pipes and shit. Yeah. Like,
That's a good game too. We should go back to that one. Anyway,
yeah.
we are here today not to talk about Alan Woke.
Right.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No, we're not. That's next. Actually, it's this month, but this is
Yes.
we'll get there. The Diet Pepper Zero Sugar is kicking in already. So, we're here today to talk about the final Gears game that we've played that is out. That
hmm
this is it. This is the last one that has come out. Um, and we are waiting on the next game now, which is, I mean, I don't know. There's been a trailer for E-Day, but
hmm
that could mean anything. I might be playing
Yeah.
E-Day in my
It still
40s.
feels like it's a long way off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It still feels like we got a way ahead
Yeah.
of us for it.
I mean, they gave us an Elder Scrolls 6 trailer like 8 years ago, whatever it is by now. It still hasn't come out.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
People like the Witcher 4 trailer comes out and people are like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to play that." I was like, "Hold yours."
Yeah,
That's
are you
not going to be
serious?
out. That's not
Like,
going to be out
okay.
for a while.
No.
Let me
No.
tell you. Have you been around CD Projekt Red's development the last, I don't know, 20 years? Um
Yeah, forever.
mhm. Anyway, I am excited to play the new Witcher though. So we're going to talk about Gears Tactics, which is a interesting departure for the Coalition and their vision for Gears, which I think the game is kind of a mixed bag, but ultimately I'm pretty like positive on it, and I am optimistic. Like it made me optimistic, I think, rather than
Hmm.
like 4 and 5 kind of put me in a state of mind I'm not, you know, not happy about. But Tactics, I
Yeah.
was like, hey, they got ideas still. They could do something else with the series that's just not, the usual over the shoulder cover shooter thing. So yeah, that was it was nice, and we're gonna talk about that.
Right.
And as we were talking about, we're gonna be visiting, maybe revisiting in some cases, the Remedy verse, the recent Remedy verse, which is Alan Wake, Quantum Break, Control, and then Alan Wake 2. And they all apparently all kind of in a weird way tie together. So I'm excited to see how that works out. And I ordered the Quantum Break book. So I'm gonna check that out. I was gonna order the Alan Wake book, but it turns out
Oh, nice.
The Alan Wake book is literally just the game in a book form rather than like extra stuff like in the like other stories. So I was like, that's fine. I don't need to read. I just played it. I don't need to read it. So not gonna do the book.
Hmm.
Um. So yeah. So I guess we could just talk a little. We had it's been Merry Christmas, Mitch, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yeah, and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why, there's been illnesses and there's been car problems and there's been holidays, and that's why we're a little late on this one.
Hey, it's our
But I mean, it's
time.
fine.
It's our time. We're here for the love of it. Um, it's all good.
That's
But
right.
yeah, we're in a whole new year now. We're in 2025. It's crazy. Um,
Hmm.
and we're in 2025. Elder Scrolls 6 probably still won't come out. And we had Christmas and it was nice and I got sick. But we played some games. I played some games. I'm playing some games that I want to talk about.
Hmm.
And I think I'll just go first. One game
Sure.
that I played while I was sick and during the holidays that was like um, it was the perfect chicken soup of a video game to play, and I beat it within a week, which was Lego Horizon Adventures. What is it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
it's awful. I can't just say what it is. Like
Yeah.
Lego Horizon Adventures, right? That's what it's called. Lego Horizon.
That
Yes.
sounds right. I couldn't
Yep,
tell you.
yep. Lego Horizon Adventures. Okay, so basically, it's weird because I played it on my Switch, and when you boot it up on your Switch, it's like Sony PlayStation, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, that's like what
Yeah.
they did with Ori and the Blind Forest when you boot it up, and it's like Xbox Game Studios. You're like, what is happening?
Right.
What
Yeah.
what black magic is this?
I know. What a time.
Yeah. So, played it on my Switch, and it was perfect. I mean, that game is not the best Lego game. It is probably in the mid tier of Lego games. I still think Lego Undercover is my
Mm.
favorite one, but yeah, I think
Oh, okay.
it's in the middle there. I think it puts its best foot forward. It introduces like a lot of cool things like upgrade tree and exploration and different types of enemies. And then after like the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, you've pretty much seen everything the game has to offer. And then it's just like
Right.
exploring, like in terms of like gameplay mechanics. And then when you get to, the other part of the game and the other ecosystems, I guess. It's just like snow and desert.
Hmm.
But it was a vibe I was totally down for, because it was so cozy, and I liked coming back to base every time you finished like your outing, and you could like customize, depending on how many bricks you had or whatever, you could customize the look of the camp. But yeah, it's a retelling sort of kinda of the first Horizon game with Aloy, and
Hmm.
like trying to figure out where she come from. She come from mountain. She come from mountain, and
Hmm.
big bad robot creatures are got the ooze. They got the Ghostbusters ooze
You
or
do.
something. And they get bad, they go bad, and there's like this evil red machine thing that's just trying to
Hmm.
sentient thing that's trying to take. And it is I played that first Horizon game way back when on the PS4 and enjoyed it. And so the story is pretty much the same story but done with like Lego, funny humor.
Yeah.
And it's
The
fine. It's
humor,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. And it's like you unlock characters you could do co-op with. But it was really great when I was feeling not great, and just kicking around collecting stuff. So like I said, I don't think it's the best
Nice.
Lego game, but I got it for $40, I think, and I think that's don't spend more than $40 on it. I think that's a good price for it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever paid more than 20 for a Lego game, but I
Yeah.
also haven't played very many of them.
They're usually pretty good. The quality's usually pretty good, usually pretty fun. I would like to see more of
Yeah, I
them.
just feel like it's
Hmm. Go ahead.
no, I was just say for me they just always feel like they're the same game, but just with a different skin applied. And like
Hmm.
I played
Hmm.
Star Wars 2, and then I think I played whatever. I think the next one was like the entire saga or something, or whatever it was that had like all six movies at
Oh
right at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The complete saga, whatever that one's called. And
Yeah, the
then I've
Skywalker
played
saga or something.
that, yes, something. And then I've played the three Batman ones. I like those, but again, that's my stuff. And I bought the Marvel one, and that's the one where I realized I think I'm kind of burnt out on this. And I
Like
was
it's
like, eh,
all it's called kind of the same. The one
yeah.
I really like is Lego Undercover, and I actually revisited that one again pretty recently. That was the one that came out on the Wii U initially, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
it's out. But that one's more like a open world Lego game, kind of GTA-esque
Yeah.
for Lego, family friendly
Hmm.
GTA. And I really dig
Right.
that. Like I dig how much you can just kind of dick around and drive around the city and stuff. Like it's a great um it's a cool idea, and I don't know why they haven't done a second one. And Horizon
Yeah.
Adventure is a lot like the ones you're talking about, but it's a little more like Diablo-ish, I felt like, the way that they had it kind of like the formula for it, which I totally dug. Like I would if they expanded on this idea, I would play more of it. They just
Hmm.
need to like tighten it up a little bit. Um
Yeah.
But yeah, I dug it. It's cool. Check it out. Check it out. Check
Nice.
out the Legos. Check out the Legos games. The other thing I've been playing is I am almost done now again with another run through of Dragon's Dogma, which I got on the Switch. It
Mm.
was on sale for $5, and it was the Dark Arisen edition, which I've never played. I have the old, like the first one for PS3, which I really like.
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is the Dark Arisen. It was on sale for like $3 or $4 on the Switch eShop, and started playing it. Immediately hooked because it's just a great game to get into. And I am now at the very end to fight the dragon, and I did it within, I don't know, pretty short amount of time. I didn't realize the game makes you think it's bigger than it is, and then like once you start getting around, you realize that the map isn't as big as you think it is. It's actually
Hmm.
quite small. Um,
Hmm.
but there's like a lot of end game stuff you can do, which I'm not too interested in. But the main campaign I think is a really fun, uh, just good, like, I don't know, fantasy adventure game.
Hmm.
You could do the story in like 30 hours or a little less if you wanted
Hmm.
to. Um, so yeah, so I'm playing that again, and it's really fun on the Switch too, because they I mean, it probably runs like a champ on the PC, but I mean, like compared to the
Sure.
PS3 version, this one's like just a little, it's a little faster. It's a little, they cleaned it up a
Hmm.
little bit more. So it's been fun playing that.
Yeah,
Uh,
somebody was talking about that, saying how that it launched kind of not in a great state, but they really had worked on it and stuff, and it had gotten much better.
yeah, that's how I kind of feel about, like, I want to get Dragon's Dogma 2, but I'm kind of
Hmm.
waiting till either A, they put out another edition where it's like like they did with Dark Arisen, where it's just like this, or like what Atlas does with like Persona, where they put out the next version and it's just like a bunch of quality of life improvements, and they have all the patches in it because
Right.
from what I understand with Dragon's Dogma 2, there was a lot of performance issues when it came out. So I was
Mm.
like, I'm just gonna wait until Capcom probably puts out this, you know, better version of it. And also, who knows if the Switch 2 comes out, maybe a Switch 2 version will come out, uh, you know, whenever. I would like to get
Hmm.
that. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma, check it out. It's fun because the one of the main hooks of the game is that there are you have like your job classes, or you have you can choose who to be. You can be like a fighter or a
Yes.
mage or something. But if you want, like, just like randomly, like halfway through your vocation, that's what they call it, your vocation. So
Hmm.
like if like halfway through the game you're just like, I kind of want to just be a mage now after being like, I don't know, like a shield and sword and shield kind of guy, you can just do that. And
Hmm.
there's no penalty to that. Like you don't, because it's not like you're dumping your points into strength or anything like that. Like your character just levels up as it levels up. So you don't have to worry
Okay.
about like, oh, if I don't dump enough into intelligence, I'm not gonna have any mana to like do spells. So you can really like, there's a lot of
Right.
flexibility for how you want to play the game, and if you get bored of playing a certain way, you just change it up, and I think that's really cool. I don't really do
That
that
is,
because
yeah.
I just like the one thing, but it is cool that you can do that, and I know people who do that,
Right.
so it is cool. Um,
Hmm.
and then the last thing I'll speak to is that I started playing for the first time The Witcher 2, Assassin of
Mm.
Kings, right? Is that Assassin of Kings? I think it's something like that. So,
Something like that.
a little bit about me. I love The Witcher. I love the
Hmm.
books. I'm actually going back to the books right now. And I love The Witcher 3. Uh, what what you laughing about?
Oh, I am, yes, I am a known Witcher 3 hater.
He's the Witcher 3. We got a Witcher 3 hater in the house.
There there is evidence online of my Witcher 3 hatred.
Oh my goodness. Wait, okay, so what's your argument?
Yeah,
Or like what's your dislike? Like what don't you like about The Witcher 3? I don't know if we've
well,
talked about this.
yeah, so it was when Divided by Werewolves was first, an idea. The
Hmm.
idea was that we would live stream the show and also stream games on days that we weren't doing the show.
Yeah.
And so, we each would stream different games, during the weeks, and then on show nights, we would stream a game co-op and then just have a discussion about a movie or what, like the way the show is now.
Hmm.
But instead of it just being an audio podcast, we would be talking while we played the game together and stream it live. And that turned out to be really ambitious
Uh-huh.
for our minimal abilities when it comes to streaming and production and all that type of thing,
Hmm.
because we're both on Xboxes. I mean, it's not like we had like these mega, PCs with mics and all this. Now we were on Xboxes with headsets. And but so I had bought The Witcher 3 because nobody would shut the fuck. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever," and this. And I was like, "Eh." I was looking at it and I was like, "It doesn't like my kind of thing." And then I forget, the Xbox store had the Ultimate Edition, all the DLC, everything, and I think it was like $10.
Yeah. It's a good
And I
deal.
was like, and it, now it goes on sale. Yeah, regularly, even now, regularly
Hmm.
it goes on sale for like 10, 50, right? But at the time, this was the cheapest that I had ever seen it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. And it was like the holiday sale that year.
Hmm.
And I was like, all right, at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna give myself 1 year to finish because I'm not a big RPG guy, and I
Right.
play games so slow that I'm like, that feels like a lot of content for me to you know, jump into. And so I was like, if I'm not done with it in a year, then I'm just going to be done with it. Like I'm just going to give up. And so I think the episodes are around an hour each, and I think there are maybe seven. I it started so slowly, and I was like, I'm sitting there, and I was kind of being an asshole about it because I just got so tired of hearing about how amazing it was, and I was like, all right, well, I can't find my keys. That's the first thing that happens in the game. That's exciting. And then and then I had to pick a shirt, and I was like, boy, that's fun.
That's right, buddy.
Look at that.
You gotta pick a
Pick
shirt.
a shirt after I get out of the giant wooden bathtub. And I was just like, this is what everybody's losing their shit on. Like this says I was like, and then I hated the combat. I hated the magic system.
Hmm.
I didn't give a flying fuck about this. The only cool thing I did the entire time was the at one point you play, I think is what's her name, Siri.
Yeah.
When she's in that cave hunting that werewolf,
Hmm.
that was cool.
Hmm.
I didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Hmm.
Like none of it. I kept getting killed by drowners. My dumbass horse wouldn't do what I wanted it to do.
Roach.
I was like, yeah, I was like, this fucking sucks. And so I stopped playing it. And I'm sure I've told you, but if I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, but there is if you go on YouTube and you look up "Divided by Witcher," uh, uh, a friend of ours who came over because Brandon used to do the Jump in the Shark podcast for Game Shark,
Uh-huh.
um, and that ended. But a guy that was a big fan of that kind of followed Brandon to werewolves, and he's a big streamer, and he would watch everything we streamed, and he was, you know, all that big super cool guy. He took a bunch of clips and edited a Witcher 3 trailer together of me being just frustrated beyond all frustration. Like, so it's a Witcher 3 trailer, but with
Wait,
me going
wait,
like, get the
wait, wait.
fuck out of here. Oh God. Look at this shit. Like it's just me like saying things from my streams.
Oh my God, bro.
It is hilarious. It's hilarious.
Oh my God. I know. This is what I'm gonna put this in the fucking in the
Please do.
in the
I share it.
post.
I share it all the time. It makes me laugh so hard every
Oh
time I
my
watch it.
God, bro.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
bounced
God.
off The Witcher 3 real hard.
Um, I mean, I can, I could, I could see that. Like, if you like, I think I think The Witcher 3, like, it starts very, very slowly, and then, you're probably not going to get into the game until like hour 10, and that's a lot to ask. So,
Yeah.
um, so I get that. And I'm not mad about it because listen, Geralt's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine out there. You know,
Oh, he doesn't need me. I mean,
he
it's
doesn't
fine.
need he doesn't need anybody. He needs Yennefer, and she just keeps running away from him.
Mm.
And he's gotta find Ciri. Um, well, that's good. That's all good. I don't know what I was gonna say.
So like the other thing, and I've said this a billion times too, is just like I'm not this high fantasy is not my thing.
Sure.
I don't mess with any of that. And I don't like the Lord of the Rings. I don't like any of that dragons and all this fucking Game of Thrones.
I
I
don't
hated it.
like your
Just it's not.
swords and sorcery bullshit. Get that out of here.
I don't. I don't fucking like it. I can't. I've tried. It's just not my thing.
Get it so far away from me.
I
I won't
didn't
have it.
like.
It scares me.
No, I hated Skyrim. Like I don't like these games. Well, I
Uh,
get to be a magic wielder. Get the fuck out. I don't care. Get the fuck out of here. Go roll a dice. Like leave me alone.
in you can roll dice in Witcher 2, actually.
See, there you go.
The interesting thing about Witcher 2 though is that it's not open world, which I was taken
Mm.
aback.
I
Because
own that, and I swear to God, I didn't buy it. I don't know how the hell I ended up with it, but
you
I
got a
have it on the.
copy of the is it the enhanced edition? That's the one I got. Enhanced
I don't
edition.
know. It's the three. It's on the 360. I'm sure it's the base one or whatever.
It's cool. I mean, I think you'd have to like The Witcher, so I don't know if it's
Hmm.
I don't know if it's for you, buddy. I
No, it's
think,
not. I can tell you
yeah,
it's not.
yeah, it's definitely not. I think it's pretty cool though because I went in. I never played The Witcher 2. I played The Witcher 3. I really like The Witcher 3. But I never played Witcher 2. I heard Witcher 2 is a good game, but it was like a little more clunky than 3. Um, but it was on sale for like $3 or something. So I was like, sure, I'll just buy it and just,
Hmm.
what's this all about? And it's so like if you read the Witcher books, the Witcher games are like fan fiction of the Witcher books. Like they have the same characters. They
Hmm.
sometimes follow very similar arcs, but they're their own thing in the Witcher world. And just like the TV show was just another different disaster. Like that was its own other
Hmm.
thing. So they're like three separate things. The books are the real deal and everything goes out. So with The Witcher 2, you basically so the way they do the mythology in Witcher 2 is that they give him amnesia, so he doesn't have like the history of the books and all this stuff. And
Hmm.
he helps this king. He helps King Foltest at the beginning of 2 take over this rivaling kingdom that his children are actually part of because he had been with the governess of this place, but she doesn't want to join his side. It's a whole thing. Anyway, he helps Foltest take over this area, and then at the beginning, Foltest is murdered by this other Witcher who's like this big bald dude. He like murders this guy, and he was working with the elves, which in Witcher world, everyone's really racist against the elves, like
Oh,
to
okay.
the umpth
I didn't know
degree.
that. Nice.
Yeah, and so it's like really bad. The amount of racism in The Witcher is out of pocket all the time. So so then they blame Geralt, right? They're like, oh well, because the guy takes off and Geralt's there holding King Foltest, right? And they're like, Geralt did it.
Hmm.
He's the cranky Witcher that is we don't like him because he's got cat eyes and he's
Cranky Witcher.
yeah, he's got cat eyes and he lives forever. So they're like, okay, let's like lock him up. So then you like get broken out of prison by a guy who knows you're innocent, and like the game is like you trying to like find this guy and like work with the elves to track this dude down. Um, and so at the beginning when you're playing it is very linear. Like you're in the castle, you're going through the castle, you're fighting off dudes, you're going into you're shooting the ballast, the and blowing up the gates and whatever. And then when they dump you into like the first real place, which is like the swampy town, which I'm blanking on the name of, but it kind of works like a big hub situation. Like the town is at the center of everything, and you can take
Hmm.
quests there. And then outside of the town are like different you can go into different dungeons and there's like also just like outdoor areas that you can take trails down and you do the questing thing. It's pretty cool. Like I like the sort of contained feeling of it. Like it makes everything feel very uh like right there, and it's not like The Witcher 3 where you have to go everywhere to do everything.
Hmm.
So it's kind of cool to like do that and like and to also see the story they kind of made up. So I'm very, and the combat is pretty much the same as The Witcher 3, but I would say maybe even less user friendly. So like
Hmm.
it is a little bit of like they luckily give you at the beginning you can do like a whole combat tutorial in this like arena, and it's very helpful. But like if I didn't have that, it would be like very hard to get your like figure out what to do. But yeah, I dig it. I think it's pretty cool. I definitely like 3 more. I think 3 is the more polished, like that is the superior Witcher game. But I feel kind of fun. If it's pretty fun playing in 2 and playing in that world. Um, so I've been happy doing that. And
Nice.
and it wasn't and then I slept and then you can just sleep with Triss Marigold in the like this like spa thing randomly, and I was like, guys, we have to get back to work. Like you guys are like
Hmm.
there's so much. How can you even think at a time like this? How could you do that?
Yeah, so much witchering to be done.
There's so much witchering to be done, and yeah. And if you like the dry Geralt humor of 3, then you'll get more of that. So and everyone just treating him like he's a complete freak. which is always the best part. Um, so yeah, totally digging that. But Mitch, if you did
Nice.
not like three, I can't say that this is probably worth your time.
God, no, I have no intentions.
I
I'm
don't.
officially done with The Witcher as a
Yeah, I
thing.
think you're good.
Like I'm
I'm
good.
like the reason why I played two was because I saw the trailer for four and I was like super pumped because I was
Mm.
like, oh yeah, series old now. Yeah, let's go.
I know, and
Um,
I was trying to fast forward the Game Awards. I was like, all right, next. Like, oh no, whatever, move on.
we talking about, man. You see, she saves, she kills the thing, and then she goes back because she thought she saved the girl they're gonna sacrifice, and they just killed her anyway. And then it's like people are the real monsters, Mitch. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. That's what it is, man. And no Henry Cavill. I don't think Garrett will be in this one because he kind of retires. So I don't know. So we'll see.
Nah.
I'm fine with it. I think Ciri's pretty badass. I think she's cool.
Yeah.
Um, and she's a Witcher. She's a Witcher in the books. She's a Witcher in the game. It's
Like I said, it's
not a hot
the
take for her to be a Witcher.
the very small amount of enjoyment I got with my time with three had was her. So
Uh, her government name is Cirilla.
ah, okay,
That's what's on the paperwork if you're to look
got
up.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good.
Um. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what I've been spending my time playing recently. How about Mitch?
Nice.
Mitch Reeves, how about you in this
Yeah,
in this
not.
post uh this I don't know. Just what are you playing?
Oh well, again, life has been kicking me in the balls repeatedly since our last episode. So I really haven't had time to play a lot of things. I did finish Black Ops 6 finally,
Nice.
um, and it's fine. I will say I think I probably mentioned it last time, but having played 5 and 6 back to back, I think I liked five better. The Cold
Mm-hmm.
War, I liked that one a little bit better, but they're pretty similar in terms of quality. The story, I thought I liked the story a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
with Cold War, but 6 is good. You know, you're they're the secret militaristic organization has created a bioweapon, and you're looking for it. And it's a bioweapon that it's kind of cool how they intertwine the zombies mode into the campaign, because the bioweapon turns people into the zombies, or they make people into like
Uh,
rage zombies.
mm-hmm.
And so they kind of integrate that into the campaign a little bit, which was neat. You know, they because they always make you play. It's like Gears making you play the horde mode, you know, in the
Yeah,
campaign.
you're like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I know what you're doing.
You're trying to get me pumped for the other part of the
Right.
game.
Yeah, yeah. But it was typical big action set pieces. But the thing that I like the Black Ops series better than the Modern Warfare series. And the reason for that is I like the variety that comes with being a covert ops kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
because Modern Warfare, the campaigns are, they are what they are. And if you want like these giant, explosive, expansive like battlefields and tanks and choppers and all this shit, like
Mm-hmm.
that's your Modern Warfare. But Black Ops is more, you gotta you're undercover at this gala and you have to like do these things, or you have to hack this computer terminal and not be seen, and it that allows more mission variety in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, and
mm-hmm.
Modern Warfare lets you do different things too. Like there's always a sniper level, but for the most part, it's all about these big battles, big action, set pieces. And I kind of like the sneaky, stealthier, more, and not to say that there aren't big action. There's the airport level in Black Ops 6 is the holy shit level for this one. There's
Oh,
always at least one
nice.
holy shit level in every Call of Duty campaign for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the airport sequence in Black Ops 6 was the holy shit one. Uh,
Nice.
it was really cool. It was really cool, but it was fun.
It is a better Call of Duty game in the Call of Duty
Yes.
onslaught of games.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Um,
I
And
will
then
I will definitely pick that up when it's on
yeah,
sale for
when
like
it's yeah,
when I see that
like
GameStop for the
yeah,
disc for like $15, I'm gonna get it.
yep,
'Cause that will
that's when to get it. Yep.
inevitably what will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I typically do. If this hadn't been on Game Pass, I mean, that's exactly what I would have done. That's what I always do. I wait until they're like, it's like three back from the newest one, and,
Hmm.
and I can get it for like $20, 15, $20.
Yeah.
That's what I buy call. So,
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, baby.
and then obviously been playing Gears Tactics, and this one I knew I really couldn't play much of anything else because of how slowly I'm playing Gears Tactics because I'm overly cautious. I've learned that about myself in tactics games.
Hmm.
So like I'll move like one spot and then go into Overwatch. I'm like, oh, I don't want to get too close because I don't know which way they're going to be coming from.
That's
And
right.
so I try to
Get
keep
those
everybody like
if those tickers show up, man, you got to be ready with
that's what I'm saying.
your scout with your shotgun
So
scout.
so when you were talking about it and you're like, oh, it looks like it takes about 20 hours, I was like, oh God. I was like, I so so I
That's
haven't been
like your
playing a
Witcher
whole lot.
3.
Yeah.
It's like
You're
120
right.
hours easily. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm halfway through. No, and then the other thing I have been kind of messing with since Christmas is my brother got has gotten super into VR and he's playing this dungeon something game on the Quest and he's
Okay.
like obsessed with it. He's made friends in it. They raids and dungeons and shit in there. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. It's something about dungeon something. And he gifted me a Quest 3S for Christmas
Uh-huh.
because my previous VR experience was limited, strictly to the PSVR one, which I loved. I
Hmm.
still love that thing. I mean, its footprint is ungodly. It's such a mess of cables and wires, and it takes up a whole shelf on your fucking entertainment center when you get the extra box and all the other shit you have to get. But when you play it, I just it was the first time I'd ever seen anything in VR, like in my life, is when I
Uh-huh.
got that headset. And the first thing I put in was the Arkham VR, because
Oh, yeah.
and I teared up. Like it fucking floored me to be
Hmm.
standing in Wayne Manor looking at Alfred. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then the first time you ride down the elevator into the Batcave, like I really did tear up. I was just like, well, this is amazing.
Hmm.
And so like we got super into the PSVR. Me and the kids, we loved it. Katie got really good at Beat Saber. Jacob liked Drive Club and Wipeout because Jacob
Oh,
kind of likes
yeah,
racing
yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Good stuff.
The horror games on it were amazing. Um, but this thing is like for somebody who's only VR as a PSVR one, and I've known nothing about upgrades to different things that have been going on. This thing it fucking just blows my mind just as much as the PSVR did.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
there no cables, no wires. It runs off a battery and runs off the Wi-Fi. That's it.
Hmm.
And it like it has what I guess it's called like see-through mode.
Hmm.
So like I can still see my living room because there's cameras on the front too. So
Hmm.
I can see the living room even when I'm looking at the menus and getting ready to play the games or whatever.
Hmm.
PSVR, it was blackout, complete blackout mode for you when you had that shit
Somebody could
on.
be in my
You couldn't
house, I
see a
wouldn't know.
goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So exactly, exactly. So, but so I had to get Beat Saber first because Katie, and then my friend Tanya, who Goose. I don't know if I've mentioned Goose on this show or not, but
Hmm.
she also is super into Beat Saber. Her and Katie play that shit like world champions. Like they play the shit on the highest difficulty, and then they turn the speed up too. And they get mad if they don't 100% the songs. And I'm sitting
Uh-huh.
there like, I can't do one on medium. I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right. I'm trying because I have no rhythm, and I got my little lightsabers, but those damn blocks are coming so fast, and some of them you have to swipe them up because you have to look at the arrows. I can't do it, man. I'm not coordinated enough. But I'll sit there and watch them, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I got Beat Saber. I've been watching people play that one. I'm not playing it. And then
They got the I heard that Assassin's Creed game is pretty good on there. The
yeah.
Assassin's
Well,
Creed
I only I
Nexus.
yeah. Yeah, I'm still kind of looking at things. I've only bought one other game,
Hmm.
but the main thing I wanted was the Batman, the new Batman one, and
Yes,
it's a
that
Quest exclusive.
yeah, and it's supposed to be like
The,
really good too. It's like a
yeah, you actually play the game instead
hmm.
of like the Arkham one on PlayStation, which was essentially a tech demo, but it was like the most amazing tech demo of
Uh-huh.
all time.
Yeah.
But I haven't played. I haven't let myself play Batman yet because the battery is so bad, and
Yeah.
on the like out of the box. And so I was looking into like, accessories and ways to, make the experience even better and stuff. And I decided you can buy like different headsets that have like, rechargeable battery packs that click into the back of them. And
Hmm.
there's like they add like 6 hours, 6 more hours of battery because it gives you about 2 hours out of the box. And I'm like, I'm gonna be playing Batman longer than 2 hours, bro. I need more juice. So I'm gonna wait till I get my headset before I get into Batman. Like, but the other thing that I thought was pretty cool, I was on there just looking around at stuff, and it goes, "Hey, here's a suggested event," and it was the Celtics and Memphis, maybe, or I don't know, whoever. Anyway, there was a basketball game that was on at the time,
Uh-huh.
and like you can go into a virtual arena and just you could just I was watching the Celtics game from like courtside. Like like the dudes were standing right in front of me, like playing basketball. Like I was
That's
on the court. Like
crazy.
I was like, this is fucking nuts. This is free. Holy shit. So I ended up watching like I watched like the third quarter and part of the fourth quarter before the battery died. But
Uh, imagine if you like if you just showed somebody from like, I don't know, 100 years ago this, they would just like absolutely just their minds would just fry. Like
oh yeah.
the amount of information that we process as like people
Yeah.
now on a daily basis compared to what information people would process on a daily level like 50 years ago is crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy like how like our brains like technology has made it so that we're just like I mean just like that you're able to like put this thing on and just be like in the sports game is just it is wild.
Yeah.
Like it's just so wild,
Yeah.
dude. That's so
Yeah.
cool though.
It's pretty nuts.
You
And I
could
know
go,
it
I
does
mean
like,
if you were into NASCAR, you could go and watch the NASCAR races and not have to smell rubber.
yeah. I mean, they could put you in a car. Like
That's true.
Like it's crazy that and I know this thing probably does a billion things that are way cooler than the few things that I've kind of discovered with it so far, but
Hmm.
I'm excited about it. And again, I haven't wanted to upgrade to the PSVR 2 just because it seems like there's no support for it. Um, if once it got to around $100, $150, I could have seen myself probably getting one,
Hmm.
but this thing was, not that. It was very expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive and it's sort of we're in that phase where there's like some cool stuff for it, but like not all the development is there just
Right, right.
yet, you know? So it's like it's kind of hard to be like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to spend $500 on this thing."
Hmm.
Because it's hard it's hard to put that money down when like there's still I mean Meta has done a lot of great like they've really moved forward with the VR stuff in recent years in like a very like steadily progressive way, whereas like
Hmm.
Apple like just like shot themselves in the foot. Um, you know, the other setups that you can do with like your PC, they require a lot of like just know how to do, which is not great for like your average consumer. But we now have like the Meta, after all these iterations that they've done with the headsets, they've kind of like got to a place where like it is very consumer friendly. It is
Hmm.
reasonably affordable for the tech that it is, right? And it's not like
Right.
what was the Apple thing was like 3 grand or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So like, I think I would say like within a few years, like obviously like VR is at some point going to be where we're headed. I don't know if that's in 5 years or in 20 years, but it seems
Right.
like, it seems like at least Meta has been able to hold on, keep working at it progressively, like keep their costs down for the consumer, and also create like actual software that you can use for it. And it's not just Beat Saber, like they're actively trying to now create
Right.
like games and software for it that is specific to meta. So it's cool. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm kind of, I was kind of tempted to, get one. I'm still kind of waiting for there to be like a moment where it's like at a good price level for me and the amount of stuff that it offers. Um, but if I
Yeah.
were given one, I would be I don't know if I would leave the house. I don't leave the house anyway. But I mean, I don't know if
Mm,
like I like it like there's so much that you can, it's so immersive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like it's such an immersive
hmm.
experience because I've used one and
Right.
it's crazy like what they're able to do. And it is really exciting, it's a very exciting, being able to watch, like they got like, don't they have like Netflix on there, like you can just watch movies in your
Oh yeah.
with it
Like,
on, you can watch The
yeah, my
Office
brother's like,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, he's like, there's some, hell yeah, I would. He's like, there's some movie watching app that they all have, and they have like movie nights and shit on there,
Oh, and
which
you got
is
like, is there
amazing.
like a little VR person of yourself there watching the movie with your
Yeah,
friends?
that's the way it. So that's the way it was when I was watching the Celtics game.
Hmm.
I could see other people's little avatars, but I guess they could see me. But like for me, it was first person, obviously. But
Right, right. But yeah, you can see
yeah,
like
and he's
the
like,
other
yeah, there's like
users.
a yeah, he's like they sit in like this theater with their little guys and watch movies together and stuff. It's like every time that I've charged it or every time we play it, we run the battery all the way out and I have to put it back. Like every time that I've turned it on, we've killed the battery. That's we keep playing it until it goes dead. So
Yeah, that that
that's
that
why
def that definitely seems to be like the most limiting factor.
yep.
Because you're
Yep.
right, with like the PlayStation VR and there's like other ones. You got like a cable coming out the back, like your Andy Serkis in that game we played. Like you're like in the in the machine at the end of it. What was it?
Mm.
The monkey game. The Journey to the West game we played.
Oh, enslaved, yeah.
Yeah, enslaved at the end with Andy Serkis in the machine. Yeah, that's basically
Right.
what it's got to be for it to keep running. But yeah, I guess battery life is a thing we're yet to figure out. But at some point we won't even need batteries. They'll just like, oh well, this is a chip that I don't know.
Well, it'll be like existence. We'll have USB
Good, nice, yes,
implants in our spinal cords and just plug the fucking thing to our backs.
yeah, that's right. You'll be like Willem Dafoe in Existence. Um,
Hmm.
uh, Oh, I saw Nosferatu. Did you see Nosferatu?
No, I can't. I don't have a car
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
that I
right.
can drive to a theater because theaters for me are out of town.
That's
So,
true. I was luckily in the city and saw it, but I was going to talk because Willem Dafoe. You meant the Existenz is Willem
hmm.
Dafoe, and then I thought, oh, Nosferatu. Um, it's good. I don't think I don't. I liked it. I really liked it. I also was like, I've seen this movie or this like Rob Eggers does his Rob Eggers thing.
Hmm.
Like he does that mood and that look and those framing, like the way he frames things. Like it's all there, but it's definitely his most like it's the most commercial Robert Eggers movie I've seen, where it's a pretty by the numbers like Nosferatu story, or like I mean Nosferatu is a knockoff of Dracula because of a long history of copyrights and all this stuff, but it
Hmm.
is the Nosferatu story, which I've seen how many times at this point, and it's basically that. It's just like a little grosser, a little weirder, but it's kind of like you're watching it like, yeah, this is, yep, yeah, the guy will go crazy now. We have the Van Helsing-ish type character. Yep. So I think what I'm trying to say, Mitch, is that if you watch it at home, I think that's like probably perfect.
Oh yeah,
I don't think if you went to the theater that you would have a better experience. I think watching at home is just as fine of experience for that type of movie and
gotcha.
for its scope.
Mm,
And you
okay.
know what, the way things work these days, you'll probably be able to stream it in like 3 weeks. So
I'm hoping so, man, because it's killing me. I'm a big eggers guy, eggheads, whatever you
Yeah,
call.
Eggheads. Yeah, I think well, I'll let you watch it and see what you think, but I think it's his most straightforward movie he's done. And I
Mm,
think
okay.
I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also think something like The Witch for me is like his sweet spot, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's still my favorite.
Yeah, it's still my
The light
favorite too. Yeah.
the Lighthouse was a close second.
hmm
Um, Northman I liked, but I felt like it was pretty straightforward too. So I don't know if that's kind of what he's going for now, or maybe
Yeah,
he's just
I don't yeah,
experimenting.
yeah. I don't know. I think it if you like him, you will like this movie. End of story.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think you'll be like,
That's all. That's all I'm looking for, to be
yeah,
honest. Yeah.
yeah. That's it. I don't think it. Yeah, it's as good as like The Witch, and I think it's very meme worthy, and it's very
Well, okay.
like the memes going around are very much worth it, and I think it is very like it attracts the internet for a variety of reasons.
Mm,
And I think those are totally fine reasons why it makes it funny. Um,
mm,
but I think just as like a movie, you'll just be like, yeah, I've seen this exact movie before
gotcha.
10 other
Okay.
times. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, all right. Is that it, Mitch? Is
Yeah.
that
That's it.
that's it?
Like I said, I haven't been doing much.
Um, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about the birds and the bees,
No,
Mitch.
you just got done with Nosferatu.
We just got done. That's right. It's another cuck story. Yeah. Um, I was talking with Sarah the other day, or not the other day. It was like a couple of weeks ago, but like how Super Mario is just like this elaborate cuck setup between
Yeah.
Bowser and Mario.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
And it's actually just this really intense role playing that goes on forever in every game. Like it's just always happening in these different scenarios was basically the same outcome. Um, what did we play? Okay, we're gonna talk about
Gears
Gears
Tactics.
Tactics. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Came out in 2020. Um, that was a year. That was one of the years. It was
Was.
20. That was 2020. It came out
Don't
on
ask me a single thing about it, but it was a year.
Yeah, well, Gears Tactics came out that year, and it's probably it could be a reason for maybe its dismissal. I don't know. I'm not really sure if it was like Animal Crossing and Doom, and then everyone forgot everything else that came out that year.
Well, I mean,
You
it
remember?
was, it, well, yeah, but it was an interesting choice to release Gears Tactics at a time where I feel like Gears fatigue was certainly a thing, and it
hmm
certainly wasn't the height of Gears popularity. So if you were going to do a spinoff of Gears, I feel like maybe like after three would have been a good time to
Well,
drop
yeah,
Tactics. Like,
they tried to do that with Judgment, and then it just
yeah,
Judgment wasn't the better game. They tried to do the spin-off
right.
thing, and then it was like, whoopsies.
hmm
Um,
But it's like I know we're talking about Gears, but it's like that Killzone Liberation on the PSP.
oh yeah.
Like how, and you could say what you want about Killzone. I absolutely love those games.
Yeah,
I love
buddy.
all of them. Um, but man, I literally bought a PSP to play Killzone Liberation, and that was between two and three.
hmm
And I was like, man, this is just as fucking cool. I want to play one of these on console now and stuff.
Yeah,
So, and
that was like
I don't.
top-down isometric Killzone, right? Or
hmm
something.
Yeah, yep,
That was
yep,
a good time. PSP, man, what a good time.
yep. Anyway, Gears Tactics.
Yeah, Guerrilla Games is not going to make another Killzone, which is very sad because
Yes, it is.
they kind of, I mean, I think it seems like you really like Shadowfall. I thought Shadowfall was okay, but I
hmm
think they didn't do as well with Shadowfall as they were supposed to, and then
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
they switch gears. Um, but Killzone 2 is the sweet spot for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was boy oh boy, what a game. I played a lot
yep.
of that. Oh
It's
man, the Hellgast are so good. God, like
yes.
totally could have. I mean, they just like these Darth Vader people.
Yeah.
They couldn't drink
I
this volcanic ash.
I would love New Killzone and uh what was the other one? The Aliens one.
The alien.
Resistance.
Oh, Resistance. Yeah,
I want
yeah.
another Resistance so
So,
bad too.
yeah, so Resistance was done by Insomniac. They just make Spider-Man games, and
Right.
Guerrilla makes the Horizon games now. So
Hmm.
that's it's
Yep.
like well, I guess Naughty Dog's making a new IP, but it was like Naughty Dog for a while, where it was like we've just made The Last of Us for about 20 years.
Yes.
Either it's the remastered, or
Ugh.
I mean, good games, but I want to see something. I want a Jack and Daxter, guys. Put out another Jack and Daxter. Okay, that's it. That's all I want. Um, so Gears Tactics came out in 2020, in April for the PC, and then later in the year in November for the Xbox. And it was developed halvesies by the Coalition and Splash Damage. And Splash Damage is a studio that did a lot of in-house work for Xbox. They worked on Gears Ultimate, and I also worked on the Master Chief Collection. They weren't like the big people of those games, but they helped in various departments, and so they helped in pretty much making Gears Tactics a thing, which
Hmm.
is pretty cool. It was published by Microsoft Game Studios. We know this. The director was Steve Venezia, who is the head of Splash and is still the head of Splash, according to his LinkedIn, and he's still working and he's doing the Lord's work over there. And this story was written by Tom Bissell, who was the writer for Gears 5, and he came back.
Mm.
Um, and not unsurprisingly, I guess, because it has to deal with the Diaz clan, so kind of makes sense that
Yeah.
he was given the situation here. So in the timeline, Gears Tactics takes place after Gears Judgment and about 12 to 14
Mm.
years before Gears 1. So
Mm.
right around there. Um and Gears Tactics obviously is a tactics game, which is top down. You move your characters on the area, the map. They have action points which you can spend in either movement or action, such as shooting or waiting
Hmm.
to shoot, or special abilities that you can learn later on.
Yep.
And you have various objectives on these maps to do, which is, ranges from get from point A to point B, or blow up this thing, or supply, hold these positions for supplies. It is pretty standard, I would say, tactics fare. Um, except the
Yeah.
one thing that differentiates itself from most tactics games is that it's not on a grid board, which is which is
Hmm.
the big difference. And they were gonna have it on a grid board, and they decided to take it off because then it didn't allow for like such normal movement of the gears, which I think was a good call because the way you can move around the map I think is very fluid and very natural and very cool. Um, and I really really
Yeah.
like that about it. So my personal experience with Gears Tactics is I don't know if it was 2020 or 2021 or when, but I essentially picked it up, played like the opening part, maybe a little bit past that, and I was like, this is a cool idea, and I will play this again. And didn't play it again until right now. So, um, so,
Yeah.
so that was my experience with it. So I initially thought it was a cool idea, and then didn't follow that rabbit hole. And then you, Mitch, from what I understand, you're just like tactics games, no way, no how kind of thing, and you're just like,
Yeah. I'm not.
no, I'm not on that.
I'm not as opposed to them as I am high fantasy games,
Hmm.
but I the only one I've ever really played and enjoyed was Front Mission 3. on the PS1, like whichever one was on the PS1. And that's because I like big robots. And back then you either read about something in a magazine or you looked at the cover art and thought, hey, look, it's pretty cool. And I looked at the cover art that had a big robot on it, and I was like, well, that's cool. I like big robots. And then I got home and I was like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Um, but I played it. I played all of it, and I had a great time with it. And then I tried like Final Fantasy Tactics. Could not get into it. That
Ooh,
game
I love Final Fantasy Tactics.
kicked my ass 9 ways to Sunday. I tried was it Ogre Battle or Ogre Tactics or
Yeah,
Tactics
Ogre
Ogre?
Tactics. Yeah.
That kicked my ass, and I was like, this just isn't for me. And then, fast forward to the PS4 era, and everybody's in love with XCOM, and they gave us XCOM for PS Plus 1 month. I downloaded it. I played approximately 10 minutes and I deleted it. I was like, I don't like this at all. And then and then Gears Tactics hit on the Game Pass there on the old Xbox, and I was like, well, it's Gears. I like Gears, and so I downloaded it and I played the tutorial, and I was like, yep, this is Tactics. I'm good, and I deleted it. Um, and then because I have to have the whole series if I'm into a series,
hmm
I remember that the physical copy went on sale for like $10, like less than 2 months after the release.
hmm
And that was a full $60 or whatever, $70 whatever release for Microsoft. They were giving the thing away 2 months later for $10. So I still have one sealed on the shelf in there. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't my thing, but I like the cover art, and I have all the other Gears games, so I have to get it. Um, and then we started doing the show and getting me back super into Gears mode, and I knew we were going to get to it eventually. So yeah, and I gotta say, I'm glad I played it. I didn't finish it. This is the first thing that I've not finished since we've done the show. I had to watch the last couple of cutscenes on YouTube, but
Uh-huh.
I fully intend to finish it. It's just like I was saying before, I'm so slow at it because I'm
hmm
like overly cautious, and I'll end the turn where my characters or stuff have points because I want to wait to see what the enemy's doing before I decide what to do. So I leave action points on the board all the time because I'm like, all right, what are they going to do now? I got to be ready, that type of thing. So like literally one mission could take me an hour. I'm just
hmm
like because I'm so slow, and I also try to find everything and that type of stuff.
Oh, all like
Um,
the briefcases and stuff.
the case, yeah, the
hmm
looter shooter in me. I just can't. I have to do it. I have to see what's in there. Uh, it might be a cool helmet.
It could
I
be
don't
a cool
know.
helmet. Oh, another cool game thing about this game though is that you do get to customize your units. Everyone, you
Hmm.
get to, find armor. And depending what class they play, there's a like, support class, there's a heavy class, there's a
I love
sniper
the heavy
class,
class.
yeah, recon
Hmm.
class. So you can outfit them with like upgrades to their guns or the type of guns they have, and then also their armor. You can anything you want. You can make their armor different colors. I gave Gabe Diaz a nice pink Lancer. I thought it was dope. So like
Nice.
that's like that to me was like really like a really cool part of
It's crazy. Like,
the game.
like you
Yeah.
can like you can give the women full beards, and
Hell yeah.
you could get all that stuff, and then like you can change their names, you can change their nicknames to anything you want. It's crazy.
hmm
Like I named all my people different stuff. Like I loved it.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's I think the amount of customization they just like give you, and then also like, as you're using them on missions, you have story missions and you have side missions, and there's sort of like these four side
mhm.
missions. And these side missions or the regular missions, you earn experience for these characters and then you help them level up, and there are skill trees, and you can dump your points into these skill trees, and like depending on which corner of the skill tree you go, you kind of force them into a certain type of
Yes.
version of like, a support character or a heavy character, one that, maybe it's a support character that does way more healing, as opposed to, I don't know, like more movement abilities for other,
Yes.
other parts of the other characters. So like there's a lot at play. And the other thing that's kind of fun that I like about it too is that when you're in the side quest part of the game, you have to finish like say like three missions out of four, two missions out of three. But if you do
Hmm.
a mission with three or four characters, the second mission that you do, you cannot use those characters again because the
Yeah, I
way
like
that
that too.
yeah, the way they have it is like, oh, those characters are out, campaigning right now
They're
or whatever.
traveling. Yeah.
They're traveling so
Yeah.
that you can't use them. So like it really forces you to kind of not get too hung up on like any particular characters. Like you have your favorites, obviously, but
Yeah.
like you also like are forced to level up your recruits, which you get to find people out in the wild. You recruit them, and then your APC or whatever the hell it is, you're able to like recruit. Like you have a certain amount of people you can have in there
Yeah.
that you can have as your team, and it's a cool feature. I think it's just smart. It was
Yeah.
fun. Um, and so a little bit too about this is that I'm gonna put this in the post notes and stuff, but there are pictures that when they were making this game, they actually started it out as a sort of like on a table board game with grids, and they had little
Oh, okay.
figurines that they would put on the table, and they drew up cards for enemies, and the enemies had stat points, and they would roll dice in order to do like moves, and it was like it's very cool like how much
Oh,
thought they what's wrong? You're like, oh God, don't do that.
I would not have liked that.
Yeah. So they were really approaching it from a much more traditional tactic standpoint, which
Hmm.
is, you have the grid system, the characters, their stats are like cards basically, and it's very D&D adjacent, right? It's like a very
Yeah,
dun-
but I don't know how well that fits with your typical Gears player though. Like I
yeah.
imagine that's probably why they went away from it.
Well, no, they what they did is they use that as like as the bones to the game because the game
Oh, okay.
like the game itself was going to function in the same way, just kind of like if you play like Skyrim or something like that, like really like it's just almost like an old school text-based adventure game or whatever, like
Right, right,
the
right.
bones of it are what it is, or it's all D&D, everything comes from D&D basically.
Right.
But so the way then there's pictures of them with like the board and like the characters on it and how they were figuring out like what objectives were going to be like and what maps were going to be like, and they put a lot of time into that, which I think is pretty cool. That they were able
Hmm.
to, I don't know, like to conceptualize Gears in a way that was so different to how they had been looking at it the whole time, right? And that this
Yeah.
very, I don't want to say like young development team. They've done a lot. They've worked on a lot of stuff, but like this is the first time they're really taking on like a big project for a big as the front of the company or like the front of the project as opposed to just working on like I don't know, you know, maps or something like that.
Right.
Like they were really in charge of this situation, and so I don't know, it's very thoughtful and cool. It surprised me when I found out about it because the problem with doing games that are so recent is that there aren't a lot of like postmortems on them or anything. So
Right, right, right.
so the information I did find was a really cool sort of interview they did on Polygon a few years ago, and they have some pictures there. I just think they're pretty dope. But yeah, they had to, at the end of it, they decided to step away from the grid format, which is like I said, what you'd normally have in a tactics game, where you
Hmm.
you move spaces very grid-like, and not have the fluid movement. But it somehow worked anyway, and we got we got the situation, and yeah, I think so. So where was I gonna go with this? Hold on a second. Need to drink water. So the story though is Gabe Diaz, who's Kait Diaz's father, who we don't know too much about, um, if you play Gears 5, I think she says like, "Oh, my mom kind of said he was a bad man or something like that." But you don't really know who like Gabe Diaz is. But he fought in the Pendulum Wars against the Eastern European adjacent people, the the Indies as they call them, the people who didn't want to side
Uh-huh.
with the Cog. And so he worked there, and of course E-Day happens, and then he's thrown back into everything again. Um, and he's sort of I kind of forget where it starts off, but he's like I don't know, he's like a driver or something. Like he's doing
He's
something very
working in the motor pool.
yeah, he's working in the motor pool. And then this dude with a eye patch named Sid Redburn shows up, and he's like, "You gotta get back in the game." And he's like, "Come with
Yeah.
me." And there's basically the main baddie of this game. His name is Ukon, and he's this locust who is he's got like these healing powers, and he's kind of he's all souped up on emulsion somehow, and this is the dude they have to go after. But
Yeah.
essentially, the game then surrounds like, or then the game follows like Diaz and Redburn getting like groups of the stranded together. Stranded, of course, are the people who did not want anything to do with the Cog after the Cog after Prescott glassed the entire planet basically with the Hammer of Dawn.
Hmm.
Um, and so they team up with the stranded, and one of the first people we met, who I think is like my favorite. I wish they'd have more on her. Her name is Michaela Dorn, and she's a sniper. And you meet
Mm.
her, and she joins the group, and she's very suspicious of the Cog and Sid and all this stuff. Um, and basically like Sid Redburn had some other information that he wasn't telling, and about how the cog it goes back to how the cog knew about the locusts before it happened, and that they are we are responsible for making them because of the emulsion, and that we tried to fix the rust lung, and all that stuff kind of comes up. And then you actually towards the end of the game, it takes a while to get there, but you finally Diaz finally meets up with Reyna, who's Kate's mom, and she's one of the stranded, and she helps out, and sort of like there's some nice moments where they're kind of getting closer and closer. Gabe and Reyna are getting closer and closer until the end when you beat the big baddie, and then they're like, well, I guess we got to start a new life out here in the war place, and then it kind of ends. But that's basically the
Yeah.
story. I was hoping that it would give a little more insight into Diaz and Reyna a little bit, but they kind of don't. And
Yeah.
I think this game's a little half baked. But I think, like I said, if you I wrote a write up of like I just ranked the Gears games, like how I felt about them,
Hmm.
which I said is probably not the most uh hot take out there. But um I felt about Gears Tactics the way I felt about Halo Wars when I played it, the first one,
Hmm.
where I was like, I liked Halo Wars. I like RTS games, just like I like tactics games. And I was like, I really liked Halo Wars, and I liked the RTS stuff, but it kind of feels like I don't know, like half or three quarters of an RTS game, and
Hmm.
and then they came out with Halo Wars 2, and I thought Halo Wars 2 was awesome. Like I thought that was like for me that was like they nailed it on the head. I don't think it made any money, and they're not chasing that anymore. But I loved it.
Right.
I thought it was great. And so I feel the same way about Gears Tactics, where I feel like there's like half a game here, or maybe three quarters of a game, and then the other half of it they just like peppered in a lot of like redundant like missions and quests that don't really do like you don't feel like you're doing anything. You don't feel like you're gaining much from it other than experience, but like your characters don't level up super fast. So like
Right.
you don't feel like you're getting enough from it, and they're just kind of making you grind to the end, and that last like five missions or whatever, that span of five missions in the last act.
Act
That's
three. Yeah.
yeah, Act 3 is
That's where I'm at. Man,
you chug, baby.
it's rough.
You chug through it, and
Yeah.
it's tough, man. Because I think so for me, like the story missions are great, and they're pretty, like their time is pretty good, but the side quests for some reason take a lot longer, and they're a little bit
Hmm.
harder in my opinion
Yeah,
outside of like
100%.
the boss battles. And
Yep.
I feel like it's just like there's like a balance issue situation going on there too, where you can kind of breeze through the story missions and then you're hit with like these side quests, which I is kind of feels like it should be the other way around, where the story missions should
Yes.
be a little more
Yep.
bombastic and the side missions should be like, 15-minute, 20-minute, not an
Hmm.
hour long situation. So I
Yep.
was I wasn't crazy about like that part of it. Um, but what I did really love though about it, not only just how well they pulled off like the transition from Gears over like cover shooter over the whole Gears thing to making it a tactics game works really well given the type of gameplay it is. And I think
Hmm.
that the transition feels so good and playing and putting those characters in tactical turn-based like combat is just it works. It works for it. There's no like I don't know why, I don't same
Yeah,
thing with like
absolutely. Yeah.
same thing with like Halo Wars where you're like, yeah, this makes sense. Like if you were in the ship like above and you could control the units, like this makes a lot of sense. Um and there are at the end of each chapter
Well, the other
or
thing I think
yeah,
that
go ahead, sorry. You
no,
got
you're
it,
good. I was
buddy.
just going to say, I think that the thing that the for me that really made me kind of feel like Gears was such a cool fit for this type of game was the Locust in and how in the games as a cover shooter you're just essentially just shooting a different skin, but they're all using the same guns, or this guy's got a torque bow, but outside of that you're essentially just shooting another guy.
Hmm.
And the way that they take the different kinds of locusts and they all have their abilities, and this guy can hype the guys up, or this guy can, and the snipers were fucking lethal, but it was just cool to see, how for me it felt like more of a thing that they were different. And then, whereas in the other games they're just, again, you're shooting at the same guy who's hiding behind a car over there. um but yeah, like when you add in, because the locusts have the same abilities that we have, right? In the
Hmm.
in hunkered down, or this guy can like gas up, everybody, or give them better range and that type of thing. It was just
Hmm.
cool, like how they assigned abilities based on the different types of locust.
Yeah, and then as you go through the game, like you'll have they can't really change they can't make new locusts, so they basically like
Hmm.
make them more aggro or give them more aggro abilities to
Yes.
make them harder to deal with. And yeah, I think that's a cool way to do it, and I think
Yeah.
over the Overwatch mechanic's my favorite thing, and that also
I love
comes,
that.
yeah, that comes from I think that comes from XCOM or the Bureau, which is also an XCOM
Probably
game.
because somebody when I mentioned enjoying Gears Tactics on Blue Sky was like, Gears Tactics is just XCOM Gears. I loved it. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know what that means because I played 10 minutes of XCOM. So it's like,
That's what you get for talking to the internet, Mitch. What can I say?
well, I don't know, man. I'm having fun on Blue Sky. Blue Sky reminds me of old Twitter.
Yeah, I should really kind of put my focus there because it seems like we're headed in that direction,
Yeah,
because Threads just is not quite there with its uh, algorithm, and then Twitter is just I don't even know what it is anymore. So I think
I don't open it anymore.
yeah, I mean I open it out of habit when I'm at my desk, and
Mm,
then every time I do
hmm.
it, I feel like really stupid. But anyway, um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the Overwatch mechanic is great. So if you haven't played it, the Overwatch mechanic is essentially you can have your character like position themselves to fire if anything comes across their line of view that you can set up. Um, and depending on how many action points you have not used, you can use those action points in Overwatch. So if you have 2 action points left and you set up Overwatch, that means they'll shoot twice at anything that runs through their field of vision. So
Hmm.
there's sort of like a risk reward. Like you can risk going further out with your movement points, and
Right.
getting to the objective faster, or you can hang back and use your Overwatch to, you know,
Like I did.
yeah, like let them come to you. I will say that the AI is really good in this game because you could be in a position in this type of game where the AI just keeps running away from you.
Hmm.
But the AI is pretty aggressive that they'll come towards you all the time, usually unless they're snipers. So you never got in a position where you'd set up for Overwatch and everyone's just setting up for Overwatch and no one's going anywhere. They always will come towards
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Um, so that's so that's good.
Yeah.
Um, and what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, risk reward with the Overwatch. I think it's just a good tactic to yeah, tactic. I think it's a good tactic to use in this game and to use it, especially when you're doing like the supply, like holding the supply areas, and you could just like set up Overwatches, on either side, and it's very satisfying when you get somebody to run through there and you just like gank them real bad, like
Oh,
especially
especially
if you have your
especially you're
shotgun.
heavy. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. The only thing about shotguns is the range, man. But boy, when I would set up my head, I had two characters that I loved running.
Uh-huh.
Uh, one was I can't remember her name, but I nicknamed her Painless. I dressed her like Jesse Ventura from Predator. Uh, and then and then the other one, my favorite one, was this woman. I called her Windows because she had these big, like thick black rim glasses, like by default, and that's what they call Jay Baruchel in
Yeah.
Fanboys.
Yeah.
And so I called her Windows, and she was like my heavy of like I loved using her. She was my favorite of the characters of the game. And but man, like they had like five ability points or six or whatever it was, and then
Hmm.
like depending on what I could use, like somebody that I could use would assign an extra ability point to a character or whatever.
Hmm.
I would just set them up, man, and just set up kill zones like for like in Overwatch. I'd have like four shots with the fucking minigun and just like chew up, the not screebs, but whatever the little
So
jumpy jumpy monkey kind
the
of guys
are they
are.
like are they called Juv? No, they're not called Juvies in this one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
No,
They're not the
I
Juvies.
can't.
Juvies is the new
Yeah,
from.
the new thing, yes. Well, it's basically that, but whatever they were called in the first three, I can't
Mhm.
remember. But yeah, man, I would, man, they would just keep coming towards it. I'm just sitting there watching them just get completely annihilated. It was so rewarding every time.
Yeah, it is really, and I think too, like sometimes the game there's a few missions that will overload you with like reinforcements, and they'll keep coming, like especially
Yes,
when you have to guard
boss
this.
fights. Good
Yeah,
lord.
those are not super fun, but usually there's a lot of the missions like there are a set amount of enemies, and
Yeah.
like it's not like playing the other Gears games where you just kind of shoot your way through everything. But like when you get a
Hmm.
kill on one, you're just like, yes, it's so satisfying because
Oh yeah,
you're just
absolutely.
like every like it counts way more. Like it means way more to get rid of
Hmm.
to even get rid of like just a basic grunt. Like
Yes, absolutely.
it means way more to get, and then if like when you take down a boomer, you're like, oh, thank
Oh, thank
God.
God. Yeah. Because not only do they do hella damage, but they knock you out of cover and you get what, shell shocked or whatever they
Yeah, you
call
get
it.
shell shocked.
And I'm just like, this is bad. This is real bad right
Boom.
now.
Yeah.
And then like they really wanted you to be excited to pick up their weapon. And I was like, it's almost never worth the ability point that it took to walk over to it. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
they're only worth it for like boss fights, but then even then it's like I don't know, like especially the second boss fight with the oh my God, why am I blanking on all the enemy names?
Corpser.
The Corpser, yeah, like that fight is so hard because of the way they just like keep making you like split your group up and run around the map.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
it just takes a while, and then the
That
boomers
was
come
the
out and you're
thing.
like, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. That one, it wasn't that the fight itself was super difficult, but it's all the little bullshit things it makes you do
Yeah.
instead of letting you come up with how you want to do it.
Hmm.
It's like you're going to be split to each side. And then like because even the Brumac fight I felt like wasn't nearly as difficult, but the boss fights are so long.
Hmm.
Like that
Yeah.
they were the only things that I did where I didn't do the whole thing in one sitting. Like I had to like get a checkpoint and then come back, leave for work or whatever and come back,
Hmm.
in the afternoon and like and try to finish it because they're just so long.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
only three, like three of them, three,
yeah, there's
four,
only
three.
three big boss fights at the end of
Yeah.
each
But man,
act.
it feels like more just because of how long they take.
But
And then how
also,
many enemies they
yeah, but also I'm so happy they did have the checkpoints put in place because you can play some
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
tactics
I wouldn't. I mean,
you can play
I'd
some
still be on
tactics
the broom.
games and they don't have it.
Oh, fuck that. I'd still be on the Brumac fight, dude. I would have nothing to say outside of the first four missions and the first boss fight.
You're like, well, it looks good. Running on that Unreal
Yeah,
Engine
I enjoyed it when
5.
I played it. Yeah. I enjoyed the 40 hours I put into the first like first eighth of the game.
Um, yeah, I think there's just, I think it's a proof of concept that they just need to iron out a little bit in terms of like pacing
Yeah,
and difficulty spikes and all that. But like for what it is and what it does, what it like initially sets out to do and how, and I think, accomplishes it mostly, but is just make an enjoyable
I agree. I
tactic.
mean, I would absolutely play another one.
Yeah, hell yeah. If they announce a Gears Tactics 2, I'm down. I don't think they will, because you know why? When I got the achievement for
I don't either.
the last mission, which is like you just get the
Mm,
achievement for like winning the last battle, it was like one of
mm,
those rare achievements with the diamonds, and I was like, oh
yeah,
boy, not
yeah,
many people have
yeah.
got this far.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's not a good sign that, I don't know. Like obviously at the end of the day, it's more about they don't care if you played or
Well,
not, or they wonder if they made
right.
money. So I
Right.
don't care.
But I feel you. Like it's funny though, like going back to Call of Duty, it's hilarious to me that obviously the campaigns are what nobody cares about because
Hmm.
almost every campaign achievement gives you the diamond achievement. And
Oh
that
my God, bro. That is
like it's
so
hilarious.
wild. That is
Yeah.
wild. Oh man. Um, so yeah, I mean, if they were like to come out and be like, yeah, we're gonna do a Get Tactics 2 and we're gonna keep following like the, Gabe Diaz and Reyna, that'd be pretty cool. But I'd also take even set in the new era of like if they just make the game good, I don't care who the characters are really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
But
I don't either.
if they continue the Gabe stuff, because I like Gabe, he's cool. He seems all
Yeah, I
right.
like Gabe.
He's
I
cool.
had no problem with him.
I liked Michaela Dorn. I thought she was dope. I want more of her.
I
She was all
yeah,
mad.
I do take issue with the fact that she refers to herself as a sniper based on the amount of shots she fucking misses. But outside of that, she's great.
I don't know.
Like,
She was good. She was good when we were on the map, though. All right.
yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Oh man, when you get that, like when you get those sniper shots, like those like beautiful headshots with the sniper
Yeah,
character. Oh man, it's so good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I guess, yeah, I very much recommend it. And I recommend it even if you're hesitant about tactics games because I think at least for like the first act, I think it does a good job of being like Babby's first tactics game. I think after the first act, it doesn't do a very good job of like making that process like incline of difficulty. Like I think it gets a little messy, but I think like the first act you could play if you didn't really have much like exposure to tactics games, like I think you could they
Mm,
do a good job of teaching you like this is what this does and this is how you get them to disable this is what disable shots do and like they do a very good job of setting up all the tactics gameplay rules and all of its like weird board game shit. And I think
hmm
you could play that and check it out. But yeah, I was happy to be like, oh, they have something else that is not like a traditional Gears game that's not Judgment, that is actually something that's like
Right.
enjoyable and unique. And I hope they try it again. But the thing that always worries me is that this is the type of franchise that's so big that they really can't, I don't know, they can't take chances. They have to make the one
Yeah,
big game every 5 to 7 years or whatever. So I don't know, but we'll see.
yeah.
Um, any closing thoughts, Mitch?
No, not that I haven't kind of touched on already. Just the like again, it was kind of cool to enjoy a tactics game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and it took something like well, I mean, it was the show, but if I was gonna play, like if they did a Destiny one, I would have played it. You know what I mean? Like
That'd be cool.
it would have to be something that I already care about to get me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Gears is certainly a thing that I enjoy. But yeah, just it was cool. It was a different gaming experience, and I played so many shooters that it was cool to be playing something different. And I'm not done, like I said, and I fully intend to finish it. Um, I'll probably finish it here this week or so. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a cool. Story was nothing to write home about, like you said, but it's pretty paint by numbers. For Gears, somebody's going to double cross you, but then they're
Mm-hmm.
not, and then shoot bad guy and game
Shoot,
over.
shoot, yeah,
But
shoot,
war not
shoot,
over. Like, I
shoot,
mean,
but shoot, shoot, big bad. Okay,
yeah,
everybody go home. Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, it wasn't an offensive Gear story, thankfully. It was just sort of just there, but it was nice to be with Gabe Diaz. It was nice to be with a young Reyna. It was cool, like,
Oh yes, that was the coolest part.
yeah,
So
that
yeah,
that stuff is
because
just,
Ukon was such a throwaway. Like yeah, he didn't do shit for
yeah,
real.
it's just like
Um,
meh.
yeah,
Totally,
he was kind of Skeletor. He
yeah.
Skeletored around. Like
I got my evil gas.
right, right. And then he
Stop
goes
me.
out like a bitch. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he goes
okay,
out with the
whatever.
bitch. Yeah,
Like,
you gotta shoot him off the Hydra. It's good stuff. It's fine.
yeah,
I dug it. I dug it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. I think that's where I landed on it. But like a favorable 3 out of 5, I think, for me. So
yeah. I think that's probably what I would say too. I know it. Um, I read your ranking article, and I no surprise after however many episodes we've done, but I agree completely. That would be my ranking as well. So
yeah, I think we got Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears Tactics, Gears 5,
mhm.
Gears 4, Gears Judgment. Yeah.
Yep.
I booted up the Gears Ultimate Edition too over the weekend. And it's still a good game, I guess. I played the
Mhm.
Ultimate Edition already, so it's nothing new,
Mhm.
but it is every time I boot it up and am amazed at how great that intro is and how fast they're just like, it's just like this dude Marcus, we're pulling him out of a jail that's like exploding, and you're like, what is going on?
Mhm.
And it's such a good no nonsense opening that you just can't really do in later games because now there's just like all this stuff that you have to deal with the story. Um, but
Mhm.
they just really, yeah, they just, I mean, so much done so right so early on. That Cliffy B masterpiece, that Cliffy B touch. Boy oh boy,
Yeah.
just good work, just like good
Oh,
show don't tell, world building kind of stuff.
yeah. Yeah, that is one thing I did want to bring up that I almost forgot, but man, they just can't stay away from the Hammer of Dawn.
I
Like,
know, dude, bro. Every like Jesus, like, can we not
why
do
does that thing exist?
that thing exists? That is like the
God,
MacGuffin of Gear. It's just like the thing that they. It's like the Death Star for Star Wars.
yes,
It's just like the thing.
but like the good guys are supposed to be good guys are the ones using it. It's
Yeah.
not like the Empire, for God's sake.
I, it's like, why do we always end up on Tatooine? There's just so many planets we could be on, but
Right,
we're always up
right.
on Tatooine. I don't know. It is what it is, man. It's a bummer. I
I
wish.
laughed out loud. The achievement was to outsmart what's his name.
Oh, Prescott.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I laughed so hard when he was like, "This has been a tough mission for all of us,"
Yeah, and then they
and then
like,
and then he just fucking rains hellfire down on our
yeah,
coordinates with the hammer. I was like,
typical,
"What the fuck?"
typical,
Like, holy
typical,
shit!
typical war crime Prescott. What can I say? That guy has been trying to kill everybody since
Right.
the beginning. That guy has zero scruples. Yeah, he's a war crime man. And then when he dies at the end of Gear, when he dies at Gears 3, Marcus is just like, well, all right, I guess yeah. Because like Prescott like dies like on that stretcher or something. I forget. Because he's the one
Mm-hmm.
who steals the helicopter from the ship and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And like when he dies, it's just like it's kind of like that scene in The Mummy where Benny he's on the other side of the door coming down, and then Fraser's just like, "See you, Benny," and he just takes off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Exactly. Yeah.
that. Just sort of like, well, good riddance. I don't know what to tell you. I tried to do my human part, but
Yeah.
you're just a bad person. Um, so yeah, we're gonna talk about Alan Wake later this month. Alan Woke. I was thinking hopefully maybe we could do it around the 23rd, but
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be
you think
done
you
by
could do
then for
it
sure.
doesn't
Yeah.
take long at all, that game.
No. Well, I'm
Uh,
super into it too. Like I said, I played
and
the whole first chapter and into chapter two this morning before work. So
yeah, and then Quantum Break, like I said, I never played it through, and I wanted to give it a second chance. That one's definitely more like a movie with one of the hobbits, because it's one of the hobbits, isn't it? So
oh man, I was into it. Like I was excited because
Quantum Break's
the
pretty is
opening, like the opening was great.
yeah, the it is one good looking video game. Um Even now, I
Yes,
think,
it is.
because it's an Xbox One game,
Yep.
I guess. I don't know if they've done it like a
Xbox
series.
One, yeah, and I was like, I don't know how the hell that thing could have ran on an Xbox One,
Yeah, and it's like all motion
just based on what
capture
I've seen so far.
stuff. Like I said,
Yeah.
they got the Hobbit guy. I think they got some other people in there that are real people. Um they
Yeah,
did that.
Iceman's in it, obviously. He's the
Yeah.
main character.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I remember what do remember is that opening when you go to is it like a college or something at the beginning and you get to walk around a little
Yes.
bit the campus and how cool like how
Hmm.
nice that looked, and then you got to go in and then the machine goes bananas or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the guy's like you're returning to the research facility because you've been gone for 6 years. But your brother's still there and stuff. And then the guy's like, we had to do this experiment at 4 a.m. because what we're doing here is not exactly legal. And then you're like, well, should we be doing it? He's, and then he's like, you press that button. And like, you go from me like, should we be doing this to the game's like, all right, go press the button. And I'm like, oh, well, we just decided that that was fine. Like,
Yeah, and Quantum Break is definitely more of like a movie than
yeah.
game kind of thing. And then we'll do Control, which is another one that had a lot of real people, I think, in it.
Hmm.
And that one's like I think Control I played a good chunk of Control, and I feel like that's a good uh like medium of like cinematic stuff and then also like good like fun gameplay. And
Yeah,
then I'm really pumped to play Alan Wake too because that game looks
I
insane.
am too. Yeah.
I'm just so excited to play that, dude. Um all right, well, thanks for listening. You can catch Mitch over on
Hmm.
bluesky.social, whatever, however they do it these days.
I
Uh,
have no idea.
it's Mr. Bones, right? Mr. underscore Bones,
Yeah,
right?
everywhere. Mr. Bones everywhere. I don't know if it's Mr. underscore Bones or if I added the DVW in there somewhere on there. I don't fucking know.
420 blunt,
I am not hard to find.
four,
All right, like look for
60,
Mr. Bones and that weird like devil filter
yeah,
picture that I use all the time.
69 MILF Plower.
That's it.
That's it. At
Oh,
69 MILF.
that's my that's my Tinder handle. Come on.
Yep, that's right. Got him. Single
That's
moms only.
my Christian mingle handle. Okay.
What, what is it in the office where he's like little kid lover?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They know where my
Little kid
priorities.
lover.
They know where my priorities are at. Um, you can find him on Divided by Werewolves. Be sure to read the post that this is part of so you can see pictures from not behind our scenes because you don't want to see that, but behind the scenes
Mhm.
of the
No.
Tactics game with the little like Warhammer figurines, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Um, and that's it. And like I said, yeah, we're gonna talk about the Remedy games coming up. I'm really excited for those, and hope have we just have a good New Year. And I gotta always figure out how to stop this bad boy from recording.